time or we
yes, yes.
begin?
45 attendees झालेले 45. अजून 2-3 मिनिटं थांबवावे लागल्यास.
Okay, so yeah, I will begin at 9:40, sir.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, sure. Yeah.
9:40 ला सुरू करा, 9:40 ला.
Yes. Namaskar. Good morning, one and all. Zoology is a branch of biology that studies the animal kingdom. I welcome you all in this program. I welcome especially Dr. Principal Sir, Vice Principals, as well as management of the DES, and our dear Laxman Pujari, who is the speaker of today's lecture, and Professor Sangore Sir, and my rest of the colleagues and dear students. I welcome you all in this particular lecture series of zoology. This is our 6th lecture, Understanding the Seas, Types of Research and Careers in Oceanography, by Dr. Laxman Pujari. So, as we all know, zoology is a branch of science which deals with many other branches. We have learned so many other subjects like cell biology, molecular biology, immunology, even other classical zoology, taxonomy, physiology. All of us, we have studied many of these branches. Few of the branches among these are applied branches. We in our college offer BSc as well as MSc course. We give the specialization in oceanography. Then we know that there are various career options available here, even when we pursue the basic sciences, fundamental sciences. I mean, it may be a joining of a teaching or say joining a research. We have to understand that whenever we apply, whenever we go to these fields, we need to excel and give our efforts, time, and energy. Today's our guest speaker, Dr. Laxman Pujari, also has excelled in his area of marine molecular ecology. We find immense pleasure in when our own students they excel in their field that they choose. Before we proceed further for listening to his lecture, I would like to call upon Professor Sangore, head of the Department of Zoology, to give his welcome address. Over to you, Sangore sir.
Good morning to all of you. Myself, DD Sangore, HOD Zoology Department. Welcome to all of you for joining today's lecture. Department of Zoology conducting various programs each and every year. For SRUJAN Academic Festival 2022, under the lecture series, we have organized a lecture for students of Kirti College as well as other colleges students and fraternities. On behalf of Zoology Department, DV Power Sir and Kirti College Management, I welcome to today's guest speaker, Dr. Laxman Pujari, for delivering his speech. Dr. Subhash Donde was talked with Dr. Laxman Pujari and he accepted our invitation for delivering a lecture for our students. I hope Dr. Laxman's speech will be helpful for our students. My best wishes to Dr. Laxman Pujari. Now I hand over to Dr. Subhash Donde, sir.
Good morning to one and all, and thank you, Professor Sangore sir. Myself, Dr. Subhash Donde, standing before you on this virtual platform to introduce today's guest speaker, Dr. Laxman Pujari. For any teacher, it's indeed a proud moment to see his or her student excelling in any field after graduation or post-graduation. Particularly so, when the student is excelling in the field of academics or research, then it becomes a lifelong association between the two. In my 20 years of service in Kirti College, I have seen many students doing extraordinarily well in the field of research, and one among them is our today's guest speaker. Dr. Laxman Pujari is one of the illustrious MSc Oceanography student who studied in our departments of zoology from 2012 to 2014. He graduated from well-known Dempe College, Panaji, Goa, and when he joined our college for PG, he already had developed good rapport with some of the leading scientists like Dr. Baban Ingole from National Institute of Oceanography, the premier CSR lab located at Dona Paula, Goa. This is evident from the fact that during his BSc, he worked on a project entitled Seasonal Variation in Fish Diversity at Sankole Bay, Zuari, Ishuri, Goa. And since he was so much focused about his career in the field of oceanographic research right from his days of graduation, it did not surprise me much when Dr. Laxman Pujari backed Chinese Fellowship for his PhD in Marine Molecular Ecology from Tianjin University of Science and Technology, China in 2016. From October 2016 to December 2019, he was in Tianjin University of Science and Technology, where he submitted his doctoral thesis on ecotypic variation and factors controlling chromophytic phytoplankton community in comparison of open ocean and coastal marine ecosystems revealed using Rubisco encoding RBCL gene. Dr. Pujari has so far published 9 to 10 research papers in various international journals of high impact factor. Some of the journals include Frontiers in Microbiology, Environmental Pollution and Biology, etc. As far as his professional expertise are concerned, Dr. Laxman is trained as phytoplankton and phytomicrobenthos taxonomist. He has also underwent exhaustive training in open ocean water diving course, as well as in the field of genomics, metagenomics in the realm of bioinformatics. He has participated in a number of oceanographic cruises of varying duration on the board of Indian and Chinese research vessels. Presently, Dr. Laxman Pujari is working as National Postdoctoral Research Fellow and Project Investigator of DST at NIO on a project entitled Deciphering the Role of Rare Heterotrophic Marine Protists using Metatranscriptomics Analysis from Indian Ocean. In spite of his great achievement, Dr. Laxman Pujari is extremely polite and humble towards his teachers and institution where he studied, and therefore we always proudly project him as one of the noteworthy and illustrious alumnus of Department of Zoology. With this small introduction, now I hand over this dais to Dr. Laxman Pujari to deliver his inspirational talk on to our present batch of UG and PG students. Over to Dr. Laxman Pujari, who will make his online and live presentation all the way from headquarters of NIO, Goa. Thank you once again. Over to Pujari.
Thank you very much, Donde sir. Am I audible to everyone?
Yes. Yes.
Thank you very much for
Yes.
this inviting me for this guest lecture. I'm extremely proud that I can help upcoming marine biologists coming from the zoology branch, especially Kirti College and all the other college students. I'm very much thankful for Vanita
Turn
ma'am
on your
and
camera for some
yeah,
time at least.
yeah.
Yeah, just turn on your camera for some time at least, and then you may begin.
I'm very much thankful for Vanita ma'am and Donde sir as well for this inviting me, and Sangore sir as well. So I will begin this lecture understanding the sea types of research and careers in oceanography. Actually, I will share my personal experience as far as until now I have come across. So if I left over something in somewhere, please correct me anytime, anytime. So shall I turn off the camera, ma'am? Hello.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yes.
So the understanding the seas is this logo of National Institute of Oceanography. I just take it from there, and because this is my base institute from where I have begun my research, and I excelled further in the field. So I will explaining the type of research and different career options in oceanography. So the content is I'll just go through my background information, how I have done everything until now, and I'll give a small introduction to oceanography, and then we will focus on the research that is specifically focusing on the marine biology, and then we will go to the career options. This is my main focus of the today's lecture, because many of us when we finish our BSc or MSc or even some other courses associating with the marine biology, we are not sure what to do next. I may skip some of the specific areas because I'm not in touch of those specific areas, but I will be giving a detailed overview of what exactly we should do after MSc, whether it will be a private firms or it will be a government firms or it can be anything else. So let's begin with my background information. I'll just quickly go through my background information. I completed my BSc from Goa University, as Dunde College, Dunde sir said, and completed MSc from Kirti College. Then I joined as a project assistant to in NIO Goa under the Dr. Baban Ingole. He's a immensely famous scientist for benthic ecology. Then I was simultaneously applying for the UK fellowships for UK and China. I will be explaining all this detailed fellowship, how I approached and what I did. Then during this time, I obtained China Scholarship Council, that is Csc Fellowship. This is one of the extremely proud, famous fellowship around the globe. And I completed PhD within 3 years. I stress the word within because we all start PhD sometime. I mean, some of you may start, and you will find yourself stuck in somewhere that we are not. I'm not able to complete my PhD in 4 years. I've finished 5 years. I've finished now sixth, seventh. I have seen some of them are eighth year, but if you smartly do a work, or if you smartly select the fellowship or the professors specifically, you will finish it in very quickly with very good research articles. And of course, we all know that we all suffered from the pandemic, and even I suffered for the pandemic. I supposed to go for the postdoc in other countries, but due to lockdowns and all the issues, I could not go. Then I again joined in NIO as a senior project associate, where I worked in different projects. Specifically, I worked in a sand mining project, which is of Goa government. And then meanwhile, I applied for the Indian fellowships for the postdoc, that is National Postdoc Fellowship. This fellowship is given by the SRP, that is Scientific and Industrial Research Board. It is a special board which have been amended with the parliament to conduct different types of fellowships. Then I'll just briefly go through what I did in the as a project assistant in Goa in 2015-16. I worked in a biological oceanography division, and meanwhile, while working in those that division, I worked in these different projects. That is Coastal Ocean and Monitoring Prediction System (COMAPS) project. It was funded by Government of India. Then coral reef monitoring was carried out by our group, and the fund was given by the United Nations Developmental Program. Then I also worked in the polymetallic nodule mining. This is environmental impact assessment project funded by again Government of India. This is a huge project. It has been we have been allotted. India has been allotted a huge area in the Central Indian Ocean basin, and every year. 1 or 2 times our research vessels go there and they do the sampling analysis. They take a samples from there. I'll just explain in a few slides. And then I also worked in one of the EIA project that was dredging at Marmagoa, funded by it was the government of Goa. So what COMAPS was actually we used to get the CRV Sagar Purvi, that is coastal research vessel, and we used to get it from the National Institute of Ocean Technology. All the way they used to come here in Goa, and we used to do the sampling. Sampling used to carry out off Goa, almost at least 50 to 60-meter depth we used to go. Then we used to collect different types of sample for biology and chemistry to understand how every year it used to happen, and it was happening from last 20 years. We have data of 20 years or 30 years around. And we are exploring how the ocean around us is changing, how the fauna is changing, what is happening. So from the biological perspective, we used to collect phytoplankton, zooplankton, and benthic fauna, that is meofauna or macrofauna. And for the chemistry, we used to collect a sample for dissolved oxygen, chlorophyll, nutrients, heavy metal, and hydrocarbons. Then during PMN, that is polymetallic nodule project, we have gone to Central Indian Ocean Basin, and we picked up nodules, and we have also collected samples for the phytoplankton, and we sorted out how, I mean, the specific focus was on the polymetallic nodule and associated fauna. We all know that there are, even at the 5,000-meter depth, at the polymetallic, and when the polymetallic nodule forms, around those nodules we can find some of the nematodes and all. So this is how the left hand side you can see a spade core. We used to take this big core in the Central Indian Ocean Basin, and the core used to deploy. And in the middle you can see when it come up on the deck, it is muddy, and this is a sediment from the around 5,500-meter depth or something like that, probably. And then on the right side you can see we used to distribute the samples for each and every group, and there are large cores, medium cores, and the quadrants, different types of sizes. So we used to take them, we used to cut them in the 1 centimeter, 2 centimeter areas, and we used to see how every centimeter what is the difference in the organism or the sand or the mud. So if you can see the polymetallic nodules in one of the stations, we got the polymetallic nodules. These are said to be millions of years they are getting formed. And in the middle, you can see one of the plate is removed from the foreside, and in the middle you can see how the layering of the this sediment is getting deposited, and then we used to get cut. It is really fascinating to see how you are seeing the millions of years of deposition in one box, basically. Then we used to take these nodules and collect them in the trays and do the further processing. Then while working in the coral reef monitoring, we specifically went to Malwan and near and around our Sindhudurg fort, and we did the diving. I guess 7 to 8 days every month, and that was continued for 7 to 8 months. We photographed the corals. We analyzed the bleaching percentage, how the bleaching happened. There was some phenomena called as bleaching phenomena, or the El Nino effect. It was raising the temperature of sea, and then the corals got disturbed and they started bleaching, and even the ocean acidification was also partly responsible for it. And then we also studied the sponges along with that, and macroalgae as well. That is collection of the seaweeds basically. If you can see top both the images, you can see the bleached corals. We just photographed them. We could not collect because there is no permission to collect the corals. And you can see the healthy corals down. I'm not expert basically. I used to go as a buddy for the my group colleagues. I used to go as a buddy, and I used to help them all together. Then as a PhD student, I started it in 2016, finished it in 2019. My subject involved the classification of phytoplankton using molecular tools. And basically I dealt with the areas of Bay of Bengal. Yes, of course, Chinese people have the Bay of Bengal samples. So they every year they come 2 times in Bay of Bengal and they collect a sample. My lab is basically focusing on the Indian Ocean ecology. Then I got the samples from East Indian Ocean, and I personally had gone to the West Pacific Ocean cruise. That is I had gone to Mariana Trench, not at the depth but at the surface. Then I also studied the coastal seas of China, that is near to Beijing or Tianjin, Bohai Sea, and Yellow Sea. You can see those two cruises, and at the right hand side there is a ORV Kershue. Kershue means the science. As such, it names belongs is Kershue is equal to science. So that's a vessel of 100 meters. It has all the modern facilities, and at right hand side you can see I was setting up the experiment for my RNA extraction and the RNA for the processing. Then we have to do the, that is rosette. You can see the water collecting rosette, that is 24 bottles I guess, and we used to collect the samples from that, and we have to set it up for every time whenever our sampling is there. And there were a lot of typhoons. We faced 2 typhoons, and my experimental setup got broken altogether. We used to do in the night also sampling. You can see the waves, how big waves were. Although we were hiding from the typhoon, but still we faced many big waves. The cruise was literally tilting 40, 50, 60 degree. And that was my Chinese group when we went to West Pacific Ocean. So let's focus on our today's topic, that is types of research in marine biology. I specifically will focus on, I will restrict myself for the biological oceanography, because oceanography itself is a terminology which includes lots of branches. We currently have chemical oceanography, geological oceanography, chemistry, and this engineering department, which specifically deal with the probe robots and all that. So classical marine biology includes the phytoplankton observation, zooplankton observation, and benthos. We use microscope for this kind of analysis. Then there is a marine microbiology. It's a completely different field, very sophisticated field, which involves the study of bacteria. We all know that there are bacteria in whole water column as well as the in benthic ecosystem. There are viruses also, which is the field of marine virology. When we all surrounded with the viruses, we are also battling with one of the viruses right now, and such viruses are also present, but yet not studied very well in the ocean as well. So the viruses are present in the whole water column. They are also found in the sediments. I mean, we can see how these tiny organisms are, and they are present throughout the ocean. And there is a field of mycology which study the fungus, marine funguses. Marine funguses is, although it is studied largely, but I will say that it's still evolving. This field is really evolving, and we will see many potential uses of funguses in near futures. So I am expert of my own subject. Not even the expert, but yeah, I have gone thoroughly through the molecular ecology, that is marine molecular ecology. It's a vast and really vast and rapidly developing field. It is used in almost every aspect of marine biology right now, and it deals with the interaction and evolution of marine organisms at the molecular level. Research activity focuses on the ecological and evolutionary response of marine organism to anthropogenic changes such as climate changes. When I say anthropogenic changes, we also see how I'll just give an example. We are studying the sand mining here, and we are also collecting samples for the bacteria and phytoplankton, and we will study their molecular response, how the cellular changes can affect, sand mining can affect, and cellular changes may hamper due to sand mining. We are also studying these. We are also trying to study, not exactly we have gone reached to particular focuses. Then this field is generally assessed by some of the molecular tools, that is genomics, metagenomics, transcriptomics, metatranscriptomics, and epigenetics. I will say genomics or metatranscriptomics, transcriptomics, these fields are still very well versed with the molecular ecologists, but epigenetics is really one of the most interesting emerging field in the marine molecular ecology. It studies histone modification, methylation, and all the aspects of a particular organism. Say we are conducting an experiment in the laboratory. It is having the we are conducting this carbon concentration experiment, that is uh, ocean acidification, we can call also as a, and then we are keeping concentration from 100 ppm to almost 1000, and we can see the changes, how really phytoplankton cellular response is happening, and we can really get detailed insights of it. Still in India, I guess epigenetics is just in introductory phase. Where I studied in China, it was almost they were ready to deliver the results. So this is my one of the primary topic today, careers in oceanography. Even I was confused, although I very early stage I decided to go in oceanography. I basically belong to Solapur, Maharashtra is one of that district, and you all know that Solapur is hit by a drought. It is constantly a water depleted area, and coming from that area to the oceanography was big challenge for me. Nobody knew what is the ocean, not even my parents knew, and but my parents took a decision, and I came to the oceanography field. So I developed myself in this area. I started finding my ways by my own, and sometime I failed, sometime I succeed, and that's the failing part is learning for me. So today this particular topic is a synthesis of my success. So there are different pathways to choose the career options. Needs little research actually what you want to do and what you want to get involved in. As I said, I started in my BSc, so I would also advise that if you can start at the BSc level, it will be really very helpful for all of you to get idea of what I'm going to do exactly. There are options such as private companies. I will go next slides. I will go through it. NGOs, conservation field, academics. What I have did PhD, postdoc, and scientist. Then there are content writers. Some of the journals are there. They like a Springer we have in Pune. So they seek for the biology students, specifically zoology, botany, something like that, and they want you to edit the manuscripts coming from the different parts of the world, such as China, Japan, South Korea. We all know that of course, they are really good in English, but still the emerging scientists, emerging researchers, they struggle to write in English. We are blessed that we can very much talk, write, and think in English. So their papers are really not in a appropriate in English. So we basically those content writer can proofread them. They can also collaborate with them for the developing of projects. And there are CSIR MOES labs which can we can use as a project assistant, and they don't those they need our assistants, and they need project assistants as well. And as an entrepreneur also, there are a lot of things to be done, or finally in a teaching field. Teaching field is a very well respected field, I feel, because you have to the teachers have to teach large gathering of students and educate them. that's how we grow. So the private companies, there are some aquatic industries, fisheries, which produce the seafood and frozen seafood. There are different types of jobs in those seafood product areas. That is the food technologies. These all can be done with the BSc and MSc fishery, marine biology, zoology. So you can be a food technologist, microbiologist, lab technician, or the lab assistant and quality control, or the technologist in these companies. Very well, we all know that there is a one big private company and a very our own Gadre Industries, which is located in the Ratnagiri. And if you want to go, if you want to do the EI, that is environmental impact assessment, there are some certifications which you have to get it from the government of India, and then you can do EI. You can work as a EI consultant. You can work as a EI consultant in different companies, or you can start your own company as well. So what is exactly environmental impact assessment? What is EI? It is a process of evaluating the likely environmental impacts of proposed project or development, taking into account interrelated socio-economic, cultural, and human health impact, both beneficial and adverse. Basically, they deal with what is going to happen, whether it is good or going to happen, something good is happening or something bad is going to happen. Whatever it is, they give the result, final result. It involves project prior to decision making. Obviously, if there is one project is going to happen, say there is one company going to establish near the estuary or somewhere, and they are going to discharge a lot of effluents, then before that establishing the companies, those companies need a clearance, environmental clearance, and it can be done through a private company, or as well as the national institutes like NIO or some other institutes. So it aims to predict environmental impact at an early stage in project planning and designing, then find ways and means to reduce adverse impacts, shape project to suit the local environment, present the prediction and options to decision maker. Finally, all the whatever the reports are made, they are presented in front of the government of India, and then only, or the local authorities, government authorities, and then only the decision is made whether to allocate the land, or allocate the or allow the industry to go start there. So careers in EI, as I personally worked in a different projects such as dredging in Marmagua, and that is a Goa shipyard. And the before we all know that ships have to enter in port through a particular channel, and then those particular channels are deep enough to bring the big ships into the port. So before doing that, every year the sediment get deposited, and then they have to do it again. But we all know that seafloor is full of biodiversity. It involves lot of organisms, from the fish, crabs, everyone, vertebrates, invertebrates, everyone is involved in live in this benthic ecology. So before doing those dredging, we have to assess whether what kind of animals are living there and how they will get hampered. And so these kind of projects are there. EIA projects, NIOT also do, like polymetallic nodule. This I talked the one of the first point, that is dredging of port channel, then EI of coastal roads, which is happening right now in Mumbai. Also the bridges, flyovers. Before building the bridges, we have to do a survey, and EI of different mining activity, that is sand mining, coal mining, polymetallic nodule mining. EI of nearshore statues, if any government wants to install before that statues, before that they have to do the comprehensive EIA. And EIA for local companies being set up near post. As I have explained to you that companies need to be set up, and before that they have to do the EIA of it. Need license from government, that is NIO or other relevant organization. I mean the approval from the NIO or other relevant organization. Same work is being carried out in private companies. These jobs are available at the BSc or MSc level. Most of these jobs are situated in the Middle East countries, like just for example, Qatar, Abu Dhabi, or UAE. There are a lot of companies in India as well. If you can get basic experience in India, then definitely you are eligible to go outside with a huge salary. They are having really a huge salary. These kind of jobs you can find in LinkedIn or other jobs portal. So this is career in academics. As I told you, I have started it in early age, that is BSc. Really involves a sheer dedication of subjective study that you really want to do a PhD. First, you have to decide you want to do a PhD or not, because it's a really a tapasya, I can say, a dedication, really. So you should be fully ready to do the subjective study. I'm not scaring, but yeah, this is the fact. Nobody will share these facts with you, but this is my personal experience. I'm just sharing with you. Then should be carried forward and turn into it PhD. That means PhD. Finally, you should get your PhD, whatever it is. Should be self-motivated, you and ready to work 24/7. Work come at any time. Your instruments are running. You have to look after your instruments. Many of the things are there. Ready to read, write, and publish. Reading, writing, and I will say publishing is a later part, but reading and writing is the primary work involved in the research. Ready to do a teamwork. You cannot do anything without team. Team is the integral part of your PhD. You say, if you say that no, I will be doing it alone, no, I don't need anybody, I feel that is impossible to do it, because there are different things to be learned, different that's like ready to learn new technologies. There are different technologies you want to learn, and without a teamwork it is not possible at all. So, I mean, if you want to do PhD, there are different fellowships in India. We all know these fellowships, probably the CSIR, UGC, JRF Net Fellowship. We all know, we all give exam. This is the second one is the Prime Minister Fellowship for Doctoral Research, and SONCES Junior Research Fellowship. These two fellowships, I am not sure if you have gone through it, but Prime Minister Fellowship is really good fellowship. It is given to 100 PhD student, and the research grant is also very high. I'll go just in details of the CSR UGC JRF Net Fellowship. This is fully funded, and it is given by the CSIR UGC. It is 5 years, and amount of fellowship is also increased these days. And eligibility is you have to pass the NET exam. The Prime Minister Fellowship is, as I said, 100 PhDs are doctoral fellowships are awarded every year. It is basically available for industry working employees. Like you have to be in, you will be working jointly in the industry as well, and academics as well. So you can see the 6 lakh per annum is given, and 50% comes from the SERP, that is Scientific and Industrial Research Board, from which I am also getting a fellowship. 50% comes from them, and 50% comes from the industry. Duration of fellowship is maximum 4 years. This is another fellowship, SONCES Junior Research Fellowship, that's designed for the doctoral and postdoctoral researchers. Oceanography is, I'll say that this fellowship is specifically for the marine biologist, oceanographist who wants to study in the different oceanography area. It is organized by National Center for Earth Science Studies. If you can go to their portal, you will find all the MOES labs, all the other labs which are related to the earth and science. So, if these are, I'm not aware of much of the fellowships in India. These three fellowships where I knew, I personally, but I'm much aware of the fellowships which are located abroad. There are absolutely numerous fellowships. Absolutely numerous means absolutely numerous. We are really not aware how many fellowships are awarded every year, every month, I will say, by the different countries, their governments. There are different portals. I will just show you how the screenshots of the portals. You can take a photo and try to apply them. There are different portals are available. There is a fellowship called DART, which is for specifically focused for Germany. Fulbright Fellowship, which is specifically focused for USA. There are two Commonwealth Fellowship, that is UK and New Zealand. You can go in UK or you can go in New Zealand. There is Israel Government Fellowship. There is a China Scholarship Council Csc Fellowship. Then there is a Mixed Fellowship for Japan, and there are some other fellowships which I will be introducing you. This is just a brief introduction. So if you can go to this website of Ministry of Education, this website, this particular website deals with the scholarships which are given by the different countries, and they come to the Ministry of Education, and these countries say that okay, fine, we have the fellowship, and you can give us the fellows. And then our government starts the process, and then they upload that in this portal that, okay, fine, you can see the first Israel scholarship for academic year 2022-23. I guess it is on right now, so you can apply it. So like Israel has approached to Indian government, and then Indian government has uploaded the document here. If you open that document, you will see all the details, how to apply and what to do. I'll be explaining these all details. Please have the photograph of this, and then just go through by yourself and see, explore. And there is this portal, a very important portal. This is not given onto the Ministry of Education website, but this is there. Finally, you will come to this portal only. Right now, there is a Global Korea. It's a Sakshat portal launched by the Ministry of Education. You can see currently there is a Global Korea scholarship is going on. This is for the PhD, MSc level. All the fields are welcomed, and I guess the end date is March 9th. So just go through it. If you cannot apply right now, also make it sure that you will apply next time, some other time when the fellowships come. Keep the fellowships keeps on coming here every month, 2, 3 something. So this is the study in Korea fellowship, Global Korea Fellowship. This is website of Korean government itself. You can see there are different types of fellowship. Take a photo of this and try to explore it by yourself. And you will, once you start to explore, then you will understand what type of documents you should prepare, what type of emails you have to keep it ready. So just go through it. This is a Global Korea Fellowship. Then there are a lot of fellowships in Japan as well. Japan also has a very good relationship with India, and they offer really fantastic fellowships. And you just need to go and apply in their portal and wait for their results. It takes around 4 to 5 months. The whole process is, and this is particularly I'm talking about the mixed fellowship. uh, this is based in the you can get the information embassy on the website of Embassy of Japan in India. You can see all the details, how it is done, what is there. I'm not giving whole details because if you can go by yourself and start looking for it, you will really understand, and you will try to apply for those fellowships. Then there is a portal called as Urax. This is specifically, I'm just giving you the screenshot of this particular website. This is given by the European Commission. You can, if you can find a suitable PhD position, every day there are fellowships in this portal. If you, this is basically for the Europe, and any European country and any European universities you can go, you can get involved. Just apply from this URIX. It is really helpful. Then, of course, China Scholarship Council. I personally had gone to China, although we have some problems in diplomatic relation, but I will say the Chinese people itself are very nice people. My professor was very nice. That's just because of my professor I could complete my PhD in a three and a half year, and I could publish lots of good papers. Believe me, when I say good papers, mean good journals, very hard to publish. So this is a China Scholarship Council website. You can go in their website and check what exactly documents you need. Then there is a Mofcom Fellowship. It is also based in the China. This fellowships comes from the embassy. You have to approach to the professor. I'll give the details how it has to be done. And Mofcom Fellowship, it's available throughout the whole China. Every year they give it out. There is another fellowship called as Marine Scholarship of China. This is particularly based in the Zhejiang University, is one of the top university in the world. And this marine scholarship, you can exactly enroll into the marine department of Zhejiang University. This is I feel this is world class university made by the Chinese people. And then there is Alfred Wagner Institute. We all know that Alfred Wagner Institute particularly deals with the oceanography. They have a lots of good research vessel, lots of world class facility for the research, marine molecular all the types of research they have. And this is their portal. You can find they write it as a job, but these are you can see PhD positions, a lot of PhD positions updating every day. Basically, it's a very big institute and they need PhD student. And believe me, Germany, especially AWI people, wants Indian students in their institute, because they all know that we are smart enough to do the work. Then these are some private portals. I found this very helpful. This is Earthwork Jobs. You can find different types of category. Especially, specifically, I have put the oceanography, marine science, coastal science jobs. You can find all over the world jobs are being posted in this portal. So just go through it, take a photo and go through it, see where you can fit yourself in this academics or the PhD positions. And there are different fellowships which are given by the private portals. You can see top left, scholarshippositions.com. Every day I get mail from these people. You can subscribe to their mailing system, and then you will get everyday updates. Every day there are lots of fellowships coming from all over the world. They want international students in their university. Just go through it, these websites. There are fellowships in Hong Kong. Hong Kong is a really nice place. I have gone there for my conference, Gordon Research Conference, and the universities are the world-class universities I ever seen in my life. More beautiful, more sophisticated, more world-class infrastructure than the Chinese university I have ever seen. These the HKU Presidential PhD Scholarship Program is a very prestigious scholarship program located in Hong Kong. They attract the candidates from all over the world for full-time PhD. They called it as cash reward, but it's a stipend, handsome stipend they provided. Also provide fellowship for MSc, not just for PhD, but for the MSc as well. Then you can get the grant for the conference, research, and other traveling also. This is another fellowship, that is Hong Kong PhD Fellowship. It's a full-time PhD program in government-funded institutions in Hong Kong. This is also cash. They also provide a very good stipend, as I have mentioned in this slide. This is the portal of Hong Kong Fellowship. You can take a photo if you want and try to go there and have a look and see what documents they needed. There are different time periods. They open the portal for the application. You will get all the details, every single details. Then these are all the fellowships. Basically, anyone can go and search if you really have the interest in searching these fellowships and going to the pursuing PhD. But believe me, there is something called as personal experience, and which you cannot find it anywhere. If you go to the different companies in India and you ask them to do, I want to do PhD abroad or I want to do the MSc, they'll take you money from you and they'll just get you admitted in those universities. But believe me, you don't have to pay a single penny when you are going to apply for these fellowships. Not a single penny you have to pay. Everything is paid by the fellowship agencies, those governments, foreign countries. So this is my personal experience. Before applying these fellowships, you need to keep your transcripts. After your bachelor's or master's, you get a transcripts from the universities. Keep these transcripts ready. What are the transcripts? Basically, it's a simplified version of the mark list, which is understandable to the other universities. Which it's a standard format for which is also followed by all over the world. So they can have a idea of how much percentage you have got, how much marks you have got in each subject of the MSc or BSc, and the other research documents if you have any, such as I did my diving. So I had a diving certificate. I worked in a National Institute of Oceanography for 1.5 years. Then I got a lot of experience, and that experience I took it as a testimonial from my guide, from my boss, that is Dr. Baban Ingole. Then try to understand your research area. I mean is what you really want to do in research. Their whole big world is available for research. You have to specifically focus on your liking, your understanding, that I understand this area specifically, so I really want to go in this area only. Then as a if you say you're working, so say you like molecular ecology, so you start reading the research articles regarding the molecular ecology. While reading the articles, you will understand what are the research gaps present right now, and how you can pitch your proposal. And also you will get information of professors working in a different areas, so you can have a look. Say you're working, you want to apply for Commonwealth Fellowship, just go through and you want to work on the molecular ecology, just go and type in Google molecular ecology UK. If you type only this much also, you will find tons of papers regarding molecular ecology. If you go to specific phytoplankton molecular ecology, then phytoplankton molecular ecology specifically goes and type UK, then you will go to the you will get a lot of papers regarding published from the UK. Also you have to after this finalization of your research area, start finding scientists. When you read your research articles, you obviously come across the finding professor names. Try to get those names and try to remember or keep it ready, their email IDs. Also in the research articles, you will find their email IDs. And then you have to keep on emailing these professors, at least 5 to 6 professors. It may take 10 minutes or 15 minutes of your day to email them. Basically what you have to do is you have to write a same format what you want in your email, and send it to 5 to 6 professors. But don't forget to change your name, because if you email to two of the professors from the same department, then they will find it that, okay, fine, this person is emailing me also, emailing you also, that I don't know what to do. So if you can write in the email that I'm Laxman Pujari, or I'm Pujari Laxman, or Pujari L or L Pujari, something like that. You have to change a little bit name here and there, then apply, then approach to the professor. Once you get a connection with the professor, then you can reveal your name and all that. So, but while emailing to them, please don't forget that you are applying for the particular fellowship. This is okay, fine, I'm applying for the Commonwealth Fellowship. The subject has to be like application for the Commonwealth Fellowship under your guidance. This should be the subject. When they open the email in the morning, your email should be strikingly visible to those professors. Then only they will open your email. Believe me, every day professors get hundreds of emails, and they don't have time to open those emails. Although they really want students to come from the abroad, but they really don't have time to search as such. So if you can smartly do this work, the chances increases that professor can read your email. Then start building the research proposal with professor. Obviously he will email you and he will ask you what is your research interest. Then you start emailing each other. And if you this is like developing a research proposal with the professor. But if you have the proposal ready with you beforehand, before you are approaching to professor will really feel good that, okay, fine, this person is really interested, and I want this person at anyhow. And then find out that you have to take the IELTS. IELTS is basically required in the European countries, and TOEFL exam. This is English language testing exam. It's easy, not that hard. Then apply after finalization of your research proposal and all the documents. Professor himself will approach to the international school department of the respective university, and they will tell the respective departments that I want this student, you do it anyhow. So they the HR department will take application from you, and they will take a research proposal from you, and then they apply from their end. If you apply from your end, the impact is less. But if you apply from like how I told you, and the professor has already talked with the HR, and then HR is approaching to the fellowship council, then it is very easy, and it is 99% chance that you are going to get the position for PhD or the masters. Finally, I just want to share my ResearchGate profile. This is me on my ResearchGate proposal. I haven't changed my affiliation yet. Soon I'll change it. And this is my citations. I'm a growing, budding ecologist. So thank you for your kind attention. And if you have any query, you can email me on these email IDs. That's first one is a Gmail, and the second one is my organization email ID. Thank you very much, all of you.
Laxman,
Yes,
your
ma'am.
lecture, excellent lecture, I would say. Listening to you, Dr. Laxman, it was a very learning experience for me. Laxman, you may turn on your camera.
Yeah, ma'am.
Please turn on your camera.
Just a minute.
I'm sure this lecture will help the aspiring researchers and academicians as well. We will move towards the question answer session now. And if you have questions, you may put in the chat option that is given to you. If you wish to ask question orally, you may unmute it, but for that reason, you have to raise your hand and then ask. I will ask you the first question right away from my end, Laxman.
Yeah,
that is, you said that self-confidence is really essential. Patience is essential, particularly
yes,
for a person who is into the basic, who wants to pursue the career in basic sciences.
yes, ma'am.
I've also gone through it.
Yes, ma'am.
So I want to find out how you have dealt with this particular situation. How you went with it.
Yeah, ma'am. I would just compare the two situations. Doing PhD in India and doing PhD abroad. Doing PhD in India, you go through, every PhD student go through the different types of pressures every single day, every single hour, every single minute, and then we try to deal with the situation by our own way. I would say that I mean, doing PhD in India, you have your own language speaking people around you, so you may get a little bit of comfortness with these people. You can talk with them, but believe me, I have gone through a very rough patch of PhD. There were certain times that I even cried once or twice, but yeah, I calmed down myself. I talked with the family for a while. Then uh, I really did not go for 2-3 days to the labs, and I was just sitting myself, trying to understand what is happening with me. And then I went. I did some research work, but still I failed. And then finally I went to my professor, and I said to him that, Professor, this is not possible. This is not happening at all. He was very kind enough. He patted on my back and he said, "Don't worry, Lakshman, you will go through this. We are not going to change the topic, but you will get the results very soon." Believe me, I don't know what the coincidence was. The very next moment, I started my experiment and I got the results. And from then onwards, the journey never stopped. I just continuously did work and I got the results very positively in my experiment. uh, Basically wanted to say is, you have to calm down yourself. You have to think how I should deal with the situation. There are, everyone have their own way. I used to go walk. I used to go for a walk, a long walk, or a bicycle ride. We did not had a bike or a car over there, so we used to go on the bicycle and sit in the garden for a while, then come back, get a fresh, and start your work again. It really helps you a lot.
Yes, Lakshman, you may stop your sharing.
Yeah.
There is one message from Dr. Donde. I'll read for that to you. It's a very praiseworthy of you, Dr. Lakshman, that inspired being trained zoologist. You have one moment. You dare to enter into the phytoplanktons and phytomicrobenthos as well as application of cutting edge technologies in the broad realm of bioinformatics. So he's praising you, Lakshman.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Dr. Donde. Dr. Donde has asked you one question here. What are available courses in EIA, Environment Impact Assessment, and what are the duration of these courses?
Sir,
if you can just guide us about it.
Yeah, ma'am.
And the institutions who are offering these EIA courses.
Sir, there are different institutions such as even the government of India have their portal. I am not exactly aware of the portal, but I will get it back to you with the exact portal name. I did not focus specifically on the EI, so I have not much idea about it. But yeah, there are some few courses available which are for the licensing. I mean, you can get a license, you can get a certification course, and then you can go into the EI field specifically. Uh, I hope this might helpful for other table. I am not
Okay,
exactly aware
okay,
of the EI courses as such, sir.
okay. Thank you, Lakshman.
Yeah. Uh,
Yeah.
Jitisha
Lakshman, there is
Chavan
one
ma'am
question.
has, yeah,
Yeah.
which
You may
books
scroll
did,
through the chat box yourself, or I'll.
yeah, point ma'am. Which
Which
books did you
books did you
refer
refer
over?
overall to get started with your own subject?
All the basics book, ma'am. I studied for the molecular ecology. I don't exact, it was around 2014, to 2014-15. I studied with the book. Now I have really forgot the names. I'm extremely sorry, but yeah, I really got the bookish knowledge first. Then I understood it properly. Then that time it was not even the YouTube available to understand the particular topic, but I tried to understand from the books itself. I took out the notes for the, I basically studied for the net exam after 2014 for once and all. I did not got the exact cutting edge mark, but fine, I got the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was recalling that time. I was after
Two
you to go to
questions
Pune
there.
and prepare for
Yes, sir,
NET
yes, sir, yes, sir.
examination.
Yes, sir,
I
yes,
was
sir.
just
I
after you.
remember.
Just go. Don't be here in Mumbai or Goa. Go back and stay there for 6 months at least and complete your NET. And then still remember that.
Yes, yes, sir. That's what I did. As you said, I was there for 6 months and then I finished my net exam. But I wanted to give it once and all. I never gave it before and I never gave it afterwards. I had clear vision that I want to go for PhD abroad. That's it.
Yes,
And
yes.
I tried
That's nice.
according to that.
Yes, yes.
One more question is there.
Good.
Does working in
Yeah.
an NGOs pay any well? Yes, some of the work not exactly well, extremely well, I will say, but yeah, they also pay you for working in the NGOs. Uh, yeah, different NGOs, they get a funding basically from sometimes from government, sometimes from the private sources. There are uh, big personalities, they really donate to those NGOs, and or your NGOs really can apply for the grants from the government websites also, government of India also, and they get a grant if the proposal is pitched correctly or something like that. I have never gone to NGOs, but this is what I know from the NGOs how they work, and from those grants they pay you as well.
Maybe sir, you have a
Hello.
question.
Yeah,
Yes, sir.
Lakshman.
Yes, sir.
Hello, Lakshman.
Yes,
In our college, we have a career counseling and placement cell also.
yes,
Okay.
sir. Yes, sir.
So today's lecture was extremely good, as I mentioned in my chat box also.
Yes,
So
sir.
can you please make that presentation for a wider audience? Now, this audience is only related to number of students are on the zoology, but there we have botany students and even chemistry also.
Sure,
So
sir.
your presentation is aptly suited for that platform also, like career counseling and placement cell. I will talk to the concerned teacher and then I will inform you. You can give your presentation for during whenever we require on that platform.
Sure, sir.
Okay.
Sure, sir. No problem at all. But sir, this is not actually professionally built presentation. This is this is the output of my last 6 year or 7 years of field research field, and then I have synthesized this much
Yes.
information and I clubbed it together. So this is not exactly professional, but this is my
No,
own
no.
research experience,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. No, no, experiential learning is ultimate form of learning. Whatever
Yes, sir.
you have provided presented today is based on your own experience. So that
Yes, sir.
in today's era, we give a lot of emphasis and importance to the experiential learning.
Yes,
So
sir. Yes,
from
sir.
that angle, it is very highly most welcome kind of thing. Like, okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. So there is one more question. The way sir has explained the research for fellowship for oceanography, can we do somewhat of same research for veterinary? Yes, I guess for each and every field we have the fellowships. And I specifically talked about the marine biology. I concentrated myself for the marine biology I focused on the marine biology. But yeah, every single field, say veterinary, every single field there are fellowships. Just go through these websites what I have told you. This is the fellowships. Although I have told you that you will find it marine biology there, believe me, there are different types of courses offered by these website, these countries. So just try to search and try to see that where you can fit yourself in this kind of fellowships. Any more questions, sir?
Yeah.
Hello, sir. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Lakshman, sir.
Please go ahead.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Lakshman, sir, I'm also interested to do the research in this
Yes, sir.
area, but I'm unable to judge myself whether I justice it or not. So that is my point, but I'm interested in that. Okay. I have collected few images from our beaches. So
Okay.
can you help me to identify it? I will share with you if you give permission to.
A particular organism, sir?
So actually, I am unable to recognize that animal.
Fine,
Just
fine,
I.
sir.
Okay.
No problem. Just share with me.
Okay.
I
Just
have given
unshare
you.
your screen, then I will share it.
Yeah. There is one question, Jitisha Sawan. Any recent climatic impact that you have observed during your research? Yes, we studied in West Pacific Ocean. We know that West Pacific Ocean is a very important ocean regarding the world climate. There are different current system. Current means the oceanic currents. They go through the West Pacific Ocean, and these currents, if you see the El Nino or La Nina, yeah. These are some of the crabs, right? Hello.
हॅलो हा सर
Yeah.
ते
These are
क्रॅब आहेत असं वाटत नाही सर, कारण काय होतं क्रॅबचे लार्वी म्हणजे ते एकदम वॉटर आपण जेव्हा टच करतो ना तेव्हा ते वॉटर एकदम फोर्सफुली इजेक्ट करतात
अच्छा.
त्यातनं. आणि ते वॉटर म्हणजे एकदम फोर्सफुली इजेक्ट करतात आणि दे लुकिंग लाईक द कॅमेरा लोकेटेड ऑन दॅट रॉक.
एक्झॅक्टली मला ते हे नाही आहे सर, लक्षात येत नाही काय ते.
ओके.
ऑर्गॅनिझम असतात जर तुम्ही बाहेर काढून ठेवला असत तर प्रॉबेबली मी आयडेंटिफाय प्रॉबेबली नॉट आय एम नॉट एक्झॅक्टली एक्सपर्ट ऑन दिस.
ऍक्च्युली मी ते काढले होते ऑर्गॅनिझम्स,
हा हा.
पण ते काढल्यानंतर आहे ना ते एकदम स्ट्रिंक होऊन जातात, पूर्ण वॉटर
अच्छा.
भरलेलं असतं आणि आपण जेव्हा टच करतो इमिजिएटली त्यांना सेन्स होतो आणि ते फोर्सफुली एवढे फोर्सफुली इजेक्ट करतात की आपल्याला कळत पण नाही आपल्याला वॉटर, आणि तो एकदम नंतर लॅप्स होतो तो ऑर्गॅनिझम मड मध्ये की तो दिसतच नाही नंतर तुम्हाला.
सर हे रॉक वर आहे की मड वर आहे सर?
ऍक्च्युली रॉक वर असतात अटॅच, पण सॉफ्ट रॉक वर असतात.
सर मला इमेज पाठवा, आमच्याकडे एक्सपर्ट्स आहेत.
ओके. हा हा.
मी त्यांच्याकडून आय ट्राय टू आयडेंटिफाय.
ते मला असं अगदी थोडस ऑइकोप्लुरा सारखं वाटलं ते म्हणून.
Hello. Shinde sir.
हा सर.
You can share the images later after the program. Right now, let
Okay,
us
sure,
complete today's here. This you can say because his email ID is there or WhatsApp number is there. You can share it later on.
Sure.
सर माझा क्वेश्चन राहिला त्यांना एक्सप्लेन करू द्या.
So yeah ma'am, I'm coming to it. So the West Pacific Ocean is really a big oceanic part which carry different oceanic currents, and with that they carry different types of environmental impacts on the particular regions. As such, when the El Nino was developed in the east coast of Pacific Ocean, it carried the warmer water. It is a phenomena we all know that it happens in a few years gap. So it carried that water towards the westward, and the West Pacific Ocean currents. These currents carried this warmer water further around the world. So when we were doing the coral reef monitoring, we were trying to understand whether we are really having effect on the west coast of India about this El Nino or La Nina, whatever it was present. So we tried to identify this climate impact. Anthropogenic climate impact, I will say this was the this happens every some gap in the year, and this is natural phenomena. But if you see the anthropogenic impact, climate impact, we simulate these kind of conditions such as ocean acidification conditions in the laboratory itself. And as such, I will talk about specifically talk about the phytoplankton. We take a single species, monoculture of the species, and then we try to mimic the environmental conditions which are present in the ocean, like increasing the carbon content, bubbling the carbon content into the flask, the conical flask where we do the experiment. Those are the big conical flask, and then the medium is the synthetic seawater. And we observed, my colleagues observed, I did not do exact research on this, but my colleagues really observed the different impacts on the phytoplankton, such as reduction in growth, reduction in the forming of shell, many other such impacts, ma'am.
Any other question?
मॅम कोणाला क्वेश्चन असतील तरी ते मला ईमेल करू शकतील, नो प्रॉब्लेम.
Yes. Please, you may share
Hello,
your
madam.
last slide then. In that case, yes, sir.
Yeah,
Bola.
ma'am.
You may share right.
सर्वांना कॅमेरा ऑन करून फोटो घ्यायला सांगा सर्वांना. कॅमेरा.
Yes, photo. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Before that, yes, sir. Before that, I would like to call upon Dr. Ravindra Shinde, sir. Ravindra Shinde, sir, please go ahead for the vote of thanks.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, एक क्वेश्चन आला ओमकार गगनी विचारला, is there a specific course for marine animals behavior? As such, there is no course available which they will teach you the animal behavior. If you talk particularly about the whales or the whales or the dolphins, they or the octopus, you can say, there are different laboratories in the whole world which particularly deals with this kind of studies. They do not teach you what is the animal behavior, marine animal behavior, mammals behavior, but they will do a research, their team do a research. So you can approach to those people, and you can try to get involved in with those groups which study the behavioral aspect of those animals, particular animals, I would say. But I have never come across, until now, I have never come across as such specific course is being taught in any institute or the university.
Okay, thank you, sir. So, very good morning to one and all. I am Ravi Shinde on the behalf of Department of Zoology. First of all, I am very much thankful to our today's distinguishing speaker, Dr. Laxman Pujari, for inviting our for accepting our invitations and delivering such a wonderful talk on types of sea and understanding the seas and types of research and career opportunity in the oceanography. So I am very much thankful, sir, to you, and I assure you, sir, that this talk will be helpful for making the career in oceanography. Secondly, I am very much thankful to our dynamic principal, Dr. D.V. Pawar, sir, for giving the permission to us for conducting such a program. So I am also very much thankful to IQSC coordinator, Dr. Matthew, sir, for encouraging us for this program. And I am very much grateful to all the office bearer, vice principals, Dr. Sima Sapre ma'am, Minal Mapuskar ma'am, Dr. Ravindra Kaude sirs, Dr. Sontakke sirs for their guidance. I am also thankful to all the HODs of Kirti College as well as all the faculty members. I am also very much thankful to all the participants because without them, it is not possible to conduct such a program. So thank you very much. So here with the kind permissions of our HOD and principal sirs, I conclude that this program is over. So thank you, sir.
Thank you very much for the opportunity once again.
You may turn on the cameras, those who are listening to us. Turn on the cameras.
दोंदे सर कॅमेरा ऑन करा. दोंदे सर
केलाय.
Screen.
संजय कॅमेरा ऑन कर.
One more. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. So with your permission, I think I will end this meeting. Sangore sir, please confirm.
Manoj.
Shall I end this meeting?
Yes.
Very nice presentation. Very nice presentation.
Thank you very much, sir.
Okay.
Okay.